For a long time, we have talked about the state of education, the state of which our kids are trying to learn with all of the many issues and obstacles that they're faced while they're in school. We realize that it has been broken, and it is broken, and it's been broken for a very long time. And the work that you guys are doing today have impacted thousands and thousands of lives of children. There are more than 96,000 kids in this state now that are enjoying educational options, whether it's with a voucher program, with a voucher or with charter schools, or just better traditional public schools, because of the work and the focus that we continue to place on our children and the most critical time in their lives. Because of that work, we now are seeing differences. We literally go and we talk to families, we talk to moms, and we talk to single dads. And when we do send surveys, we've had resounding success. I mean, 93% of the families that are in the program say that they are very pleased with the program. 98% of the families say that they are pleased with the academic performance and the changes in their children's academic performance. So it goes on and on and on and on, and families are satisfied. And the reason they're satisfied is because now they have some control and some power, not like we want, right? But there is a light at the end of that tunnel that allows for families to have some inkling of an ability to have better successes for their children. I know I don't look it, but I am a mama, and I have a 7-year-old granddaughter and a set of twins that are 4 and a 7-month-old. And I got to tell you, with all the work that I've done now in education and education reform and schools and visiting schools, I was afraid of because their parents could not afford to put them in the schools that I could afford to put my daughters in, right? And so we're blessed now that they do have some great options. I'm not going to name their schools, but the 2 separate schools, because they're separate kids. That's what choice is about. It's not about I just have a great school in my neighborhood, but it should be about I have great schools, and I have the ability now to choose which one works best for which child, right? And so we've been blessed that they were able to get into good public charter schools, but everybody doesn't have that blessing. We close with, when we started talking about this one option, vouchers, and there are a lot of naysayers and a lot of challenges to if it works, if it doesn't work, the money that it's taken out of traditional public schools. But I want to give you one figure. There was a study by researchers in the University of Arkansas that determined that our state legislature would have to appropriate more funding to return the waitlisted school kids back to the public school. If you've been listening to the news, you saw that because of the budget cuts, over 400 kids who were in the voucher program would not receive their voucher. The researchers, though, said that Louisiana is now paying $3.2 million in additional funding to avoid paying $2.6 million in voucher expenses. Now, does that make sense? Not at all. And so I ask you as you are learning about the educational options and all of the reform and listening to all of these very methodical thinkers on what we should be doing, I ask you to think about common sense approach in many cases, to really consider children and not rhetoric and politics and think about the faces, and then think about if our own children and our own grandchildren were stuck in an environment that they were not going to be able to be their very best.